upadibhyam vairagya ragopadibhyam amnata ubhaya lakshanam amnato bhaya lakshanam purusha swabhava vihitan yata varnam yata ashramam vairagya ragopadibhyam amnato bhaya lakshanam purusha swabhava vihitan yata varnam yata ashramam vairagya ragopadibhyam amnato bhaya lakshanam. Purushaha, the human being, Swabhava, by his own acquired qualities, Vihitan, prescribed, Yata, according to, Varnam, classification of caste, Yata, according to, Ashramam, orders of life, Vairagya, detachment, Raga, attachment, Upadibhyam, out of such designations, Amnata, systematically, Ubhaya, both, Lakshanan, symptoms. Translation and purport by Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada. At Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira's inquiry, Bhīṣmadeva first defined all the classifications of castes and orders of life in terms of the individual's qualifications. Then he systematically, in twofold divisions, described counteraction by detachment and interaction by attachment. Please repeat the translation. At Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira's inquiry, Bhīṣmadeva first defined all the classification of castes and orders of life in terms of the individual qualifications. Then he systematically, in twofold divisions, described counteraction by detachment and interaction by attachment. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The conception of four castes and four orders of life as planned by Lord himself is to accelerate transcendental qualities of the individual person so that he may gradually realize his spiritual identity and thus act accordingly to get free from material bondage or conditioned life. In almost all the Puranas, the subject matter is described in the same spirit. And so also in the Mahabharata, it is more elaborately described by Bhismadeva in the Shanti Parva, beginning from the 16th chapter. The Varnashrama Dharma is prescribed for the civilized human being, just to train him to successfully terminate human life. Self-realization is distinguished from the life of the lower animals engaged in eating, sleeping, feeding and mating. Bhismadeva advised for all human beings 9 qualifications. Not to become angry, not to lie, to equally distribute wealth, to forgive, to beget children only by one's legitimate wife, to be pure in mind and hygiene in body, not to be inimical towards anyone, to be simple and to support servants or subordinates. One cannot be called a civilized person without acquiring the above mentioned preliminary qualities. Besides this, the Brahmanas, the intelligent men, the administrative men, the mercantile community and the laborer class must acquire special qualities in terms of occupational duties mentioned in all the Vedic scriptures. For the intelligent man, controlling the senses is the most essential qualification. It is the basis of morality. Sex indulgence, even with a legitimate wife, must also be controlled, and thereby family control will automatically follow. An intelligent man abuses his great qualifications if he does not follow the Vedic way of life. This means he must seriously make a study of the Vedic literature, especially of the Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. For learning Vedic knowledge, one must approach a person who is 100% engaged in devotional service. He must not do things which are forbidden in the Shastras. A person cannot be a teacher if he drinks or smokes. In the modern system of education, the teacher's academic qualification is taken into consideration without evaluation of his moral life. Therefore, the result of education is misuse of high intelligence in so many ways. The Kshatriya, the member of the administrative class, is especially advised to give charity and not to accept charity in any circumstances. Modern administrators raise subscriptions for some political functions, but never give charity to the citizens in any state functions. It is just a reverse in the injunctions of the Shastras. The administrative class must be well versed in the Shastras, but must not take to the profession of teachers. The administrators should never pretend to become non-violent and thereby go to hell. When Arjuna wanted to become a non-violent coward on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, he was severely chastised by Lord Krishna. The Lord degraded Arjuna at that time to the status of an uncivilized man for his avowed acceptance of the cult of non-violence. The administrative class must be personally trained in military education. Cowards should not be elevated to the presidential throne by dint of numerical votes only. The monarchs were all chivalrous personalities, and therefore monarchy should be maintained provided the monarch is regularly trained in the occupational duties of a king. In fighting, the king or the president should never return home without being hurt by the enemy. The so-called king of today never visits the warfield. He is very much expert in artificially encouraging the fighting strength in the hope of false national prestige. As soon as the administrative class is turned into a gang of mercantile and laborer men, the whole machinery of government becomes polluted. The Vaishyas, the members of the mercantile communities, are especially advised to protect the cows. Cow protection means increasing the milk production, namely the curds and butter. Agriculture and distribution of the foodstuffs are the primary duties of the mercantile community, backed by education in Vedic knowledge and trained in give in charity. As the Kshatriyas were given charge of the protection of the citizens, Vaishyas were given the charge of the protection of the animals. Animals are never meant to be killed. Killing of animal is a symptom of barbarian society. For a human being, agricultural produce, fruits and milk are sufficient and compatible foodstuffs. The human society should give more attention to animal protection. The productive energy of the laborer is misused when he is occupied by industrial enterprises. Industry of various types cannot produce the essential needs of man, namely rice, wheat, grains, milk, fruits and vegetables. The production of machines and machine tools increases the artificial living fashion of a class of vested interest and keeps thousands of men in starvation and unrest. This should not be the standard of civilization. The Shudra class is less intelligent and should have no independence. They are meant for rendering sincere service to the three higher sections of the society. The Shudra class can attain all comforts of life simply by rendering service to the higher classes. It is especially enjoined that the Shudra should never bank money. As soon as the Shudras accumulate wealth, it will be misused for sinful activities in wine, women and gambling. Wine, women and gambling indicate that the population is degraded to less than a Shudra quality. The higher caste should also look after the maintenance of the Shudras, and they should provide them with old and used garments. A Shudra should never leave his master when the master is old and invalid, and the master should keep the servants satisfied in all respects. The Shudras must first of all be satisfied by sumptuous food and clothing before any sacrifice is performed. In this age, so many functions are held by spending millions, but the poor laborer is not sumptuously fed or given charity, clothing and so on. The laborers are thus dissatisfied and they make agitation. The Varnas are, so to speak, classifications of different occupations, and asrama dharma is gradual progress on the path of self-realization. Both are interrelated and one is dependent on the other. The main purpose of asrama dharma is to awaken knowledge and detachment. The brahmachari ashrama is the training ground for the prospective candidates. In this ashrama, it is instructed that this material world is not actually the home of the living being. The conditioned souls under material bondage are prisoners of matter, and therefore self-realization is the ultimate aim of life. The whole system of ashrama dharma is a means to detachment. One who fails to assimilate the spirit of detachment is allowed to enter into family life with the same spirit of detachment. Therefore, one who attains detachment may at once adopt the fourth order, namely renounced, and thus live on charity only, not to accumulate wealth, but just to keep body and soul together for ultimate realization. Household life is for one who is attached, and the vanaprastha and sannyasa orders of life are for those who are detached from material life. The brahmachari ashrama is especially meant for training both the attached and detached. Darshan Bhaktivedanta purport. Om ajnanatimiraan dasya jnananjana shalakaya chakshuram militam yena tasmai shri gurave namaha. Nama om Vishnu padaya Krishna preshtaya bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin nitinamine. Namaste Saraswate deve Gauravani pracharini Nirvishesha shunyavadi paschatya deshatarini Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So in the last verse we saw Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj inquiring from Bhismadeva about various aspects. So this verse talks about what is that subject which was inquired and what Bhīṣmadeva responded in that subject. Purusha Swabhava Vihitan, according to Swabhava of a person, Yata Ashramam Yata Varnam. He is ascribed to specific duties. There are 4 ashramas and 4 varnas. So he is prescribed into one particular section according to his inborn qualification. Vairagya Raga Upadibhyam. And when he is ascribed, he is trained into 2 things. Detachment from matter, attachment to the Lord. Amnatva Ubaya Lakshanam. And he is trained in this perspective so that he progress in this specific direction. This is not just for a few seconds where Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj asked and Bhīṣmadeva spoke. This is a subject almost which was discussed for almost 45 days plus. Means every day you can understand from morning till evening. Like we are having one Bhagavatam class for half an hour. So Bhīṣmadeva is giving continuous Bhagavatam class from morning till evening, sunrise to sunset, for almost like 45 days. So the subject matter, what he wanted, because Krishna wanted Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj to be fully equipped with all kinds of knowledge. So a king is a person who has to manage many subjects, many technical situations. So all round information is required for a king. So Bhīṣmadeva is a person who is most expert in that subject. So Krishna wanted Yudhiṣṭhira to learn from Bhīṣmadeva. So this entire scenario has been planned by the Lord, by the will of the Lord, and Bhīṣmadeva was also being glorified by the Lord for his tremendous knowledge. Not only just a fighter, he was a person with most equipped with knowledge. So Lord wanted to glorify his devotee. So in various places this concept of Varnashrama Dharma has been spoken. In Bhagavad Gita some references have been explained, Bhagavatam and many other places the context is elaborated. So Prabhupada in one purport writes, this is in context with Arjuna avoiding the war. He said one of the reason for the war is, one of the reason to avoid the war is many warriors will die. And when warriors die, their wives will be forsaken in the world. When women are forsaken, there are a class of people who will try to exploit this forsaken woman. And because of this, there will be unwanted children in the society, Varna Shankara. So when this Varna Shankara comes, there will be no rules and regulations in the family, no duties performed. And at the end of the day, so the entire society is in chaos. This was the reason what Arjuna was mentioning, why war should not be there. Then Krishna later he will refute this argument. So in that purport, Prabhupada explains, good population in human society is the basic principle for peace, prosperity and spiritual progress in life. So if you want peace and prosperity and spiritual progress in life, good population is a must. The Varnashrama religious principles were so designed that the good population would prevail in society for the general spiritual progress of state and community. Such population depends on the chastity and faithfulness of its womanhood. As children are very prone to be misled, women similarly are very prone to degradation. Therefore, both children and women require protection by the elder members of the family. By being engaged in various religious practices, women will not be misled into adultery. So, protection of women is the highest perspective of Vedic society. Because if the seed is strong, the tree is strong, the fruits will be better quality. So if women are maintained in a very good consciousness, very good facilities and all, the next generation you will get in a very good perspective. So similarly, Krishna also says this Varnashrama system, where it is implemented. Many people recently started commenting on Sanatana Dharma. Everybody who has mouth, they will simply talk. Whether he has knowledge or not, he doesn't know. And the person who is listening also is not focusing. Are is he authority on that subject or not? When Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita, Chaturvarnyam maya shishtam gunakarma vibhagashaha. This whole entire society is created by me. The divisions were made by me. On what basis did you make? Guna karma vibhagashaha. According to the guna and karma, the society is divided. According to the qualities and according to divisions of work. Guna, karma. This is the basis of Varna ashrama system. So, Janmana Jayate Shudra, by default, when we take birth, by default we are all Shudra mentality. Samskarat Bhave Dvijaha. And when we reformation, we become Brahmanas. So, for that, regulative principles are there. Dashaveda Samskaras are there in the family life to be performed. When all these things are performed, a child becomes qualified in his attributes. So, this is in one context, in when Lord Brahma is instructing Prajapatis. He says in Bhagavatam, Sattvam asyam apatyani sadrushani atmano gunaihi utpadya shasha dharmena gam yajnai purusham yaja. He said, oh my dear son, Tvam asyam apatyani utpadyata. Please beget children. They are Sadrushani Atmano Gunai. They should be as qualified as yourself. He is asking Manu, you should beget children who are as qualified as yourself. Because Shashagam Dharmena, you have to rule. Manu is a person who rules this world. Manu Samhita was created for the people in general. So that how they have to lead this life in this material world and how they can achieve the Lord. Shashagam Dharmena, so that these people can be able to rule the world in the pursuance of devotional service unto the Supreme Lord. And Yajnai Purusham Yaja, and by which they can worship the Lord by performance of Yajna. So, the system you see, when Brahma is instructing his son, he is saying, you develop qualified sons. And how should they should be qualified? They should be qualified in Dharma and they should be qualified in Seva. By Dharma you should rule the world, by Seva you should serve the Lord. In this way you produce that category of children. And in Vishnu Purana also this is a common verse which was most of the times quoted by Prabhupada. He says, Varnashrama charavata purushena parah puman Vishnu aradhyate panta nanyat tattosha karana. So, Varnashrama charavata. The purpose of this Varnashrama Dharma is Purushena Parah Puman. Everybody should worship that Parah Puman, Purushaha. That person who is Parah Purushaha, transcendental personality. Vishnur Aradhyate Panta, and everybody should worship Vishnu. See, the whole society is divided in such a way that worshipping Vishnu, everybody will perform the act services. Na Anyat Tattosha Karanam, and there is no other reason in which Shishi Radha Govinda. And there is no other way to pacify the Lord other than this. So the entire system of Varnashram Dharma is centered around Vishnu worship. How many of you are from village background? Traditional villages, how do you know how they are built? There will be one temple surrounding which entire the village is built. The entire life from morning till night is based upon the temple activities. Morning Suprabhata, everybody will get up. By night Shaina, everybody will go to sleep. So the way of life, what Varnashrama system is, all our life, all our activities, all our festivals are based around this related to the Lord. Like a farmer, what he is supposed to do? 6 months is his cultivation, 6 months will not be activity. A businessman, whenever there is a product, then only he does business, other times he is free. A village administrative person, whenever there is problem, they take care of maintenance in general. Whenever there is a problem only, they start addressing the issues. A Brahmana in a village, he daily performs the deity services, and whenever there are family functions, he goes and attends. The Shudras are the one who support the entire, all the three communities. In that way, the entire village is self-sufficient. You need not go outside to get any of your products. When the industrialization started, we started making everything in excess. Earlier, everybody had employment in the village, and everybody whenever they are free, they used to spend their time for the service of the Lord. Like whenever Dasara comes, the 10 days people will sit, festivals will be there, in the evening functions are organized, Harikatha, Burakatha, some katha used to happen, and people used to come and participate in the festival. So like that, all the traditional functions, like Sankranti you say. What is Sankranti? When the crop comes, the first offering is made to the Lord. And that function is celebrated in such a way that everybody are given that prasadam. Because by the mercy of the Lord, see, crop will it come by our endeavor, by the mercy of the Lord. How does crop comes? Mercy of the Lord. You may plant the seed, but for the earth to give the resources, for the water to come from the sky, for the bright sunlight, for the air, oxygen, that is not within our control. Like for example, have you seen any time, how many of you do gardening in your house? Very few people. So when you do gardening, you try to put water to the plants. The growth what you see, to 1 or 2 rainfalls which fall naturally on that plant. The water which received through the rainfall, the plant grows exorbitantly. Why? That water which comes from the sky is with all minerals combined, with nitrogen and phosphorus, which are very much required for the plant to grow. Artificially, when we try to pour water, all these minerals are gone away. We pour RO water, zero water. Useless water that is, which has no nutrients. Asara, which has no sara in that. So where will plant grow? So see, naturally how Lord has developed. When the water which is rain, which is coming from the top, when it is passing through various layers of these gases, they absorb the gases, and that gases will be used for production into the soil, which is a natural manure. We need not artificially put any manures to that. Nitrogen, all these things and all. Naturally, the Lord has created a system. So how Lord has planned for the sustenance, you see. And we are trying to say, I know better than the Lord, and we wanted to create everything artificially. So the Vedic way of life, what Shastras say, how to lead the life, and what the purpose of this Vedic life is further explained in Bhagavatam. He says, Shuta Goswami says, Atah Pubbir Dvijashreshta Varnashrama Vibhagashaha Swanushitasya Dharmasya Samsiddhir Haritoshan. The starting of 2nd chapter only this verse is there. Atah Pumbir Dvijashreshta, oh best of the Brahmanas. When Shuta Goswami is addressing to all the Brahmanas in that assembly of Naimisharanya, he is saying, oh Dvijashreshta, oh best of the Brahmanas. Atah Pumbir Dvijashreshta Varnashrama Vibhagasha. This Pumsaha is divided in this Varnashrama Vibhagasha. For what purpose? Swanushitasya Dharmasya. So by discharging one's duties, Dharmasya, prescribed for one's own occupational duty, Swanushitasya, Samsiddhir Haritoshanam. One attains highest perfection by serving Lord Hari. So everybody in the service of the Lord, simultaneously and systematically, they advance in their spiritual life. The proportion of advancement may be little different because the sincerity in the purpose is counted. Knowingly you do or unknowingly you do, is there a difference? Like most of us, whenever we feel sick, do we take a tablet? How many of you sure what this tablet is going to do? Are we sure where it will go and how it will address? Like for example, sometimes I had a tooth pain. We get sometimes this tooth pain. You take one small tablet, in half an hour that pain will go away. How does the tablet know that pain is only at the tooth, not at some other part in the body? But because the tablet is going to the stomach, pain is here, how does my pain will come down automatically in that small span? So body has a mechanism which we don't know how it is working. So systematically, Lord had planned like the society in a systematic way it is. Not that abruptly everything has evolved as modern scientists try to communicate. So, in that purport, Prabhupada explains, the cause for artificial predominance in Varnashrama is because of aim of life is missed by too much sense gratification. When we think of senses self gratification, we miss self realization. The actual purpose of Varnashrama Dharma is smooth social intercourse and high thinking of self realization. The entire perspective of Varnashrama is to increase everybody in social intercourse, everybody are designated in their respective duties, and everybody perform in collective advancement. And the highest perfection of Varnashrama Dharma is cooperatively, jointly work for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. See, for a seva to happen, a pujari just offers arati or something. But after arati, somebody has to wash that plate. Somebody has to procure the ingredients from the market. Somebody has to produce that ingredients in the market. So it is not just because I am there, I can satisfy the Lord. No, it is a combined thing. Somebody has to cook, somebody has to grow, somebody has to prepare. It is an all-round cooperative way how the service to the Lord happens. So similarly, in 11th canto in Uddhava Gita, Krishna says about this Varnashrama perspective to Uddhava. He says, Shri Bhagavan Vacha, Dharmasya Yesha Tava Prashnaha, Nishteyasa Karo Nrunam, Varnashrama Acharavatam, Tam Uddhava Nibodame. He is saying, Dharmasya Yesha Tava Prashnaha, regarding this Prashna about devotional service, or faithful to religious principles. And Nishteyasa Kara Nranam, which is going to give all the people the highest perfection. Nishteyasa. Shreyasa means benefit, Nishteyasa means ultimate benefit. For everyone who is Varnashrama Acharavatam, for all those who are practicing bhakti or who are the followers of Varnashrama Dharma, this question is very auspicious. Please, Uddhavatam Nibodame, I am going to explain to you, please listen. He says, Ado Kruta Yoga Varno Nrunam Hamsa Iti Smritaha. In Kruta Yoga, in Satya Yoga, there was no division of human society. Because everybody were Hamsas, everybody were very pure personalities. There is no Varnashrama system in Satya Yoga. Kruta Krutya Praja Jatya Tasmat Krutya Yugam Vibhuhu. In that age, people are unalloyed devotees, Praja Jatya. And Tasmat Kruta Yugam Viduhu. That's why it is known as Kruta Yoga, because all the scholars said everybody is perfected personalities in that. Hamsaha. Or Kruta Krutyaha, in which all religious duties are perfectly fulfilled. The four principles of Dharma are perfectly maintained at that time, so there is no necessity of divisions of society. Everybody is a pure personality. Veda Pranava Evagre Dharmoham Vishwarupadruk Upasate Taponishta Hamsam Mam Mukta Kilbishaha. What their activities used to be? Vedaha Pranava Evagre. In Satyuga, the undivided Veda is expressed by the syllable Om. They used to meditate in Satyuga by chanting Om Pranava mantra. And I am the only object of their mental activities, means the Lord is the only meditative perspective. Then Dharmoham Vrishadrupadruk. The Lord accepted the form of a bull with 4 legs. Dharma has 4 legs. And that form is the personified Lord. And Tapanishtaha, and people of Satyuga are very much fixed in meditation. Taponishta. And Mukta Kalibishaha, and they are free from all sinful tendencies. And Upasate Hamsam Mam, they used to worship me as Lord Hamsa. Because they are all Hamsas, qualified, pure personalities, they worship the Lord who is the supreme pure. Treta Mukhe Mahabhaga Pranan me Hrudayatrayi Vidya Pradhurbhut Tasya Aham Asam Trivarnamakaha. Oh, most fortunate one, Treta Mukhe, at the beginning of Treta Yuga, Hrudayat me Trayi Pradhurbhut, the Vedic knowledge evolved from my heart. Pranat Tasya vidya aham asam trivarnamakaha. That prana from the life air of the Lord, which is divided into 3 divisions, Rik, Sama, Yajuh. Then from that knowledge, I appeared as threefold sacrifices. Sacrifices based on 3 kinds, varieties. Next. Vipra Kshatriya with Shudra, Mukha Bahuru Padajah. The 4 Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra are 4 bodily parts of the Lord. The Brahmanas are the head, the Kshatriyas are the arms, the Vaishyas are the belly, and Shudras are the legs. Vairajat Purushat Jata Ya Atmachara Lakshanaha. And every social division was recognized by its particular duties and behavior. Ya Atmachara Lakshanaha. Atma Achara Lakshanaha. How they are identified. And Vairajat Purusha Jataha. They are all manifested from the universal form of the Lord. They are all bodily emanations of the Lord. Like Brahmanas emanated from the head of the Lord. Kshatriyas from the arms of the Lord. Vaishyas from the abdomen of the Lord. And Shudras Sirasi Stitaha. Grahashramo Jaganato. The Grahastha ashrama evolved from the lower part, Janga area. Brahmacharyam Hrudo Brahma. Brahmacharis evolved from the heart of the Lord. Vakshasthala Dvanavasaha. From the Vakshasthala, the chest part, the 3rd category. Vanapastha ashrama evolved. Sanyasaha Shirashi Sitaha. From sannyasis evolved from the head of the Lord. Varnanam ashramanam cha janma bhumi anusarinihi asan prakritayo nrinam nicher nichottamottamah. So varnanam ashramanam cha, for all the various varnas and occupations of human society, asan nicher nicha uttama uttamaihi. There are divisions: lowest, lower, best, better, best. And Janma Bhumi Anusarinaha, according to the situation of individual births in different locations. Then in Bhagavad Sandarbha, after this, Jiva Goswami says, Yadi mam praptam ichyanti prapnuvanti eva na anyata. If you are desiring to achieve me, there is no other way to achieve me. Kalo kalusha chittanam Vrittayaha prabhuti nisha bhavanti varnashrimanam natu mat charana artinam. So Krishna is saying, if you want to attain me, you have to take shelter at my lotus feet. Because in Kali Yuga, kalusha chittanam, all our hearts are contaminated. We may dress like a civilized gentleman, but our heart is like most worst personality. You can see, how many of you see daily soap serials? You see, most of you see at the home, daily soap. The villain will be the most dressed personality. By external appearance, you can never know they are villain, because their heart is contaminated. Externally, our personalities are like humans, but our mentality is asuric mentality. Demoniac tendency. So the followers of Varnashrama waste their lives and everything they possess because of these polluted hearts. So this is not true for those who take shelter of me. They do not waste their lives. So in Varnashrama system, if you are worshipping the Lord, then you are not wasting your perspective. It is for the advanced. So in Shastra, I will just conclude with small part information which says about various categories, how these divisions will come. These are technical terms. So in marriage, we know how many kinds of marriage are there? Only one marriage? Shastra says there are 8 varieties of marriages are there. The first one is a Brahmana groom can be married to a Brahmana, Kshatriya or Vaishya. See, something what happens now, a Brahmana can marry some lower orders. But a lower order can never marry higher orders. That is how the Vedic society is divided. So that the maintenance of purity and other things are there, or else what happens, they are known as Varna Shankara, crossbreeds will come. Sankara Jati. So, marriages are of various categories. That is, Brahma marriage means in a groom is invited and is given a jewel, bride is given to him. That is, marriage is of Brahmana category, Brahma category. The son born of that category will liberate 21 generations from the hell, all his ancestors. Then comes Daiva marriage, in which a daughter is given to a priest of Yajna. Then the next type of marriage is Arya marriage, in which a bride is accepted in place of 2 cows are given. A boy gives 2 cows to the person and his daughter is taken in exchange. This is called as Arya marriage. Then Prajapatya marriage is one more category, in which a bride is handed over to a groom with the words that together both of you perform dharma and propagate these children in the perspective. This is Prajapatya marriage. Then Asuric marriage is a place where bride price is accepted for the bride. Like Asuric means sometimes they take away woman by with consent and without consent, many things are there. Then there is Gandharva marriage, that what is that called as love is called as Gandharva marriage. Then there is Rakshasa marriage, where a bride is kidnapped by the groom and married, but the bride must be willing to marry. This is called as Rakshasa marriage. If a bride is unwilling and is abducted and married by force, it is called as Paisacha marriage. So Brahma, Daiva, Arya and Prajapatya are recommended for Brahmanas. Gandharva and Rakshasa are recommended for Kshatriyas. Asura for Vaishyas, and Paisacha marriage for Shudras. This is how the marriages were systematically advised for various communities. At the time of marriage, a Brahmana bride will only hold the groom's hand. A Kshatriya bride will carry an arrow in her hand. A Vaishya bride will carry a horse whip in her hand. So, Brahmana grooms must have got married to Kshatriya, Vaishya or Shudra woman. This leads to crossbreeds. The son of a Brahmana father and a Kshatriya mother is called Murdabhishikta. The son of a Brahmana father and a Vaishya mother is called as Ambasta. The son of a Brahmana father and a Shudra mother is called as Nishada. The son of a Kshatriya father and Vaishya mother is called Mahishya. The son of a Kshatriya father and a Shudra mother is called as Ugra. The son of a Vaishya father and a Shudra mother is called as Karana. The offspring of a Brahmana mother is called Suta if the father is a Kshatriya, Vaideha if a father is a Vaishya, and Chandala if a father is a Shudra. The offspring of a Kshatriya mother is called Magadha if the father is Vaishya, and Kshatta if the father is a Shudra. The offspring of a Vaishya mother and a Shudra father is called as Ayogava. So this is how Vedic terminology existed. So, like how different sections of the society evolved. So, this is as per Shastra, we have not concocted anything. So, now in one more point is how the divisions were naturally made. Who is deciding who is what? Modern day education, people go to school and they come out as input as output. But Vedic style of education, all the children were sent to Gurukula. Guru will study their temperament and nature and capacity, and he used to decide who is of what capacity. A Brahmana son can become a Kshatriya, or a Kshatriya son can become a Brahmana. So based on his qualification, Guru will say, you are a Brahmana, do Brahmanical duty. Like for example, how many of us do what our capacities are? Do we know what we are capable of? I may have interest in something painting, but I am forced to read some engineering. Correct? Most of the times, what we study is what parents decide or some other enforcement. But Guru in Vedic style, according to my inborn tendency, he will train me in that specific subject. Swabhava. So that's why the Vedic style of life, the education is perfect, because a person when he comes out, he is a professional in his what he is capable of. Modern day education, whatever we may study, at the end of the day we are a dog. We should go and look for a master. My dear sir, please maintain me. We do not have independent capacity to manage ourselves. Very few self-directed personalities come out of modern day education. Because our education is spoon feeding. Nobody is individually training us with our sense of independent thinking capacity. How many of you have done project work in your college? All of you have done? Is it a genuine project which is first time you have done or copied from something else? Practical, no? Nobody had done independent, knew something. Very rare, sir. Your generation I accept. Whatever you have done, it is 10 times upgraded now. Even I had done what to do. Because we are not capable enough. But only when we came out, we understood whatever I studied was outdated by 15-20 years when I went to market. So in that way, what is happening is our modern day education is not to compete with outside requirements. We are 10 to 15 years lagging in education system to modern day working capacity. And one more thing is, again when you study some engineering, you go on to some other job. I would have studied mechanical, but I will be doing software job, which is not correlate at all. Subject is something else, you are working on something else. And the problem is, every 2 years you have to upgrade yourself with the modern day software, or else you are outdated again, you will be thrown out. And if there is small discrepancy in the world financial terms, that's it. Pink slip, next day morning slip will be there on your table. Performance based, many other things. And one more thing is, these are all not physical activities, so people become much exhausted faster. Mental activities are more draining out than physical activities. And because of sitting at one place for many hours, people become, by 30-35, he is endowed with all the rogas in the body. Tension, anxiety, BP, all these things are naturally gifted by mercy of companies. And to maintain that, he has to do so many exercises, so many other things. So this is the artificial way of life, what Shastra is not recommending. So now what Bhismadeva is recommending is Vedic way of life. How everybody is engaged properly also, and how everybody is happy also, because they are also in bhakti also, they are also in detachment from matter also. They are trained in bhakti towards the Lord, and they are trained in detachment towards the matter. This is a perfect Vedic society, what Bhismadeva is communicating. This will continue in another 3-4 verses. We'll understand more in the further classes. Any doubts, sir? ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की, जगत गुरु शिला प्रभुपाद की, निताय गौर प्रेम।